Hello, my name is Bree. Welcome to the 98th installment of Just Thought You Should Know. For the record, the following video that you are about to watch is satirical in nature, and any such policies that should exempt satirical pieces should 100% allow for this video to remain on its platform. Not that I'm referring to any platform in particular. Just thought you should know. Squa-Meta. What is that? Squa-Meta is the taxonomic order of reptilia, also known as the lizard. Squa-Meta are typically cold-blooded, and when experiencing degrees of temperature under 45 Fahrenheit, they may experience cold shock and enter a state of rigor. So it would naturally seem that cold is Squa-Meta's worst enemy. Just thought you should know. Now, why am I telling you about this? Also, why am I standing out here in the freezing cold? Well, you see, I figured that this was probably the safest place to film this because I am currently trying to avoid a very distant related taxonomic group known as the Squa-Meta, or in fact, one particular organism, the Mark Zuckerberg. Because you see, the Squa-Meta happen to be a very aggressive type of organism. In fact, it is very advised at all costs, avoid if you can. You see, on Tuesday, January 7th, Meta announced an update to their Hateful Conduct Policy, which now allows for a number of new changes to their platform's use. You might have heard about this on social media or in the news this past week because of the term mentally ill. In fact, Meta now allows for the use of referring to the transgender community and the broader LGBTQ+ community as mentally ill to allow for a healthier discourse on their platforms. And yes, this applies to Facebook and Instagram and Threads. So what exactly were these changes? Well, one particular update that they introduced is eliminating the definition of hate speech as part of this policy to replace it instead with hateful conduct. The changes in wording still do include gender identity and sexual orientation as protected characteristics under this policy, but it refers only to when direct attacks, quote unquote, are made to people, as opposed to the limitation of said speech. In a major change of what they now allow to be said on their platform is the following, and I cannot, for the life of me, rehearse this into my brain. My brain appears to be allergic to these sets of words. So I'm just gonna read this off of my phone. We good with that? Okay, great. Thank you so much. I know, I'm sorry, it's very cold out here. Meta does not allow for insults to be made on the basis of mental characteristics, including but not limited to allegations of stupidity, intellectual capacity, and mental illness, and unsupported comparisons between PC groups on the basis of inherent intellectual capacity. However, we do allow allegations of mental illness or abnormality when based on gender or sexual orientation, given political and religious discourse about transgenderism and homosexuality, and common non-serious usage of words like weird. And so I apologize, but we need to cut into this segment to talk about one other thing, but the word transgenderism. Now, as many viewers here will already know, this is not a word anyone in our community actually uses. In fact, this is a glaring, threatening dog whistle that has been taken up by the alt-right. Now again, keep in mind that the Hateful Conduct Policy still does have gender identity and sexual orientation as protected characteristics when direct attacks are made on their platform. However, anyone who doesn't have a lizard brain,
I am not a lizard,
can clearly tell that by being able to call someone mentally ill on a platform solely for who they are, that is absolutely a direct attack on them. During the 2024 election season, Republicans spent over an approximate $220 million, according to NPR sources, specifically for anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ advertisements during the campaign. And with that amount of money being tossed around, that makes this form of prejudice a very lucrative enterprise to enter. And then of course, Meta, being an out-of-time platform, wants to go the full Elon route and basically make this an X.2. Of course, it's reasonable to understand why any non-reptilia out there might feel like they can no longer support or use this platform out of fear for their own health and safety. This is also really unfortunate because we understand that for many vulnerable members of our own community, many of us already have incredibly limited access to social circles and being able to foster new friendships with people around us. Oftentimes, services like Facebook groups are a really good go-to to find community. Over the past few days, we've seen a lot of people who have been just deactivating their accounts because they don't feel safe using these platforms anymore. And this unfortunately creates a dilemma where they are now losing access to the communities and safe spaces that they once held. The one thing that Transgender Unity Coalition can offer, though, is to be invited into our own Discord space, which is a community of our team and others who have supported and interacted with our organization in the past. We understand that this is not an exact replacement for a lot of these safe spaces. However, we also know that we need to support each other at this time. And so we are opening our community to others who may need it. And we hope that it is a suitable temporary replacement for what we can't have at this time anymore. We also 100% encourage Meta and other platforms out there keeping eyes on the situation to rethink policies that introduce bigotry and harm to those in our community. In fact, I'm going to go deactivate my account right now. Thank you so much for listening. We encourage anyone below, if you know of any other safe spaces that people can have access to in order to find friends, community, and support at this time, please leave anything that you have below. Thank you so much.